Basketball fans, welcome back. So in this video, we'll just be going back, way back to 2020, where the Kenya Morans were in the Afrobasket qualifiers 2021. And this was the first window that the Kenya Morans played. And this happened in November. It was almost mid-November there, heading into December. So this was just right at the year of the pandemic and coming off a silver medal from the AfroCan that happened in 2019. It saw the Kenya Morans finish number 2, that silver medal. Then the Kenya Morans played in the Afrobasket pre-qualifiers earlier, way back in January, early January in 2020, before even you knew about the pandemic. Then we had that whole pandemic situation, the lockdown. Then the Afrobasket window opened up in late 2020 in November, and we had this game. So in this game, Kenya matched up against Senegal, and honestly, in the lead up to this game, there was no much expectations of the team. And looking at the landscape of the Afrobasket at the time, given the fact that there are not many teams that were like the favorites that have been set up there, but given the Kenya Morans being there, it was just something good. And there was that whole thought of just getting out of that drought, that 28-year drought, or in getting into the Afrobasket. And in this pool, we had Senegal, Angola, and Mozambique. In this game, as you can see on the screen, we got brutally battered by, ruined, I can say, dominated by Senegal. This game ended 92-54. It was the first game that opened up like the whole window, and losing like this was just embarrassing. I know this happened, and I know a lot of people can have a tendency to forget, but man, if you were there and you watched this thing live, because I remember watching this thing live at that time I was just scrolling into on my I was just scrolling on my feed. Then I saw like on social media, then I saw like FIBA content. I saw like the FIBA Afrobasket qualifiers were kicking off. Then I saw Kenya's there. So when I went and tuned in, I tuned in the game luckily at the end of the first quarter. So I thought like, okay, so the game has just started. The first quarter was just actually quite good. Then the second quarter is where Senegal just came in and put the hammer down, where they scored 28 points to Kenya's 14. At least the Kenya Morans won the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, we only scored one bucket. It's the infamous 2-point quarter. That time, after the game, I remember a few hours later, I saw Karabani, yeah, another creator. He came out of the video and mentioned it. And at that time, Coach Cliff was there at the helm. And at that point, we saw Tyler Ongwae. He didn't have a good game there. He had 13 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. And quite frankly, it wasn't something that was pleasant, especially losing at that fashion, because especially our transition defense was just lackluster. There was no transition defense. There was nothing. There was nothing that we did, especially at that side of the ball. And even on the rebounds, got out rebounded brutally. Shooting wise, we were so abysmal. That was 55%, 59.5% for Senegal. And Senegal was just, eating their way inside, and they just knew what shots they needed to take. On the three ball, you could see Senegal shot at a 47.8, even 48% clip from three. And from the line, they shot 50. So the only place where we had like a good shot at, cutting the deficit, quote unquote, because we didn't even cut any deficit, was at the free throw line. On the three, we shot 21%. On 2-point field goals, we only shot 31%. So that was actually embarrassing. And despite even leading in offensive rebounds, we actually virtually did nothing. And it was just embarrassing, especially the way the game ended. And in the turnovers, we just had that, the turnover bug just, continued. We had our usual suspects putting up the whole dud performances, and even the legacy players. My God, they were just playing, poorly in there. So we saw Victor Odendo. He played 4 minutes, but actually did virtually nothing in that game. Talongwa, he played heavy minutes at the time. I know Talongwa, he's no longer with the team right now. and this is just going to it's just going to hurt the team, especially offensively. But I know he came out with a statement, and he said he's not going to come back to the team. So there's that. The last time Telongwe played for the Kenya Morans in the 2021 Afrobasket, and we're going to get into that. But in this game, honestly, it was just a dud game. Look at the plus minus. Look at the plus minus here. Victor Odendo, minus 14. Desmond Owili, minus 19. Desmond Owili is going to play for us right now in this Afrobasket qualifiers held in Tunisia. This Afrobasket 2021 qualifiers, this window happened in Rwanda. So the good thing is we didn't have to travel that far, because I've seen a couple of times where the Kenyan runs they travel like a long distance. This time, the FIBA World Cup qualifiers had to travel to Dakar, Senegal, which is way far, West Africa. In the Afrocan in 2019, it was in Mali. In the Afrobasket, not even Afrobasket, the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, some of them were held in Cairo, Egypt. So you could see like there was a lot of distance, but this one was actually quite near us, but we still managed to wet the bed. Desmond Owili is gonna play here. He's gonna play in this round, but my God, he was still abysmal. And it's not even about like scoring 10 points or more, but it's also about being efficient. Because see, this guy had 4 personal fouls. He had 4 personal fouls in there, costing the team, and 1 turnover in there. Also, Tyler Ongwae, he was not as efficient as you might think, because he was 1 rebound shy from a double-double, but because he had 3 personal fouls and 5 turnovers. So the dude, that game he just had a poor outing. Then we had Ronald Gombe, another guy. He was actually abysmal too, and you can even see like there was no efficiency, especially coming from his side. He had a plus minus from minus 11. He had Victor Bosire. He played 27 minutes, and actually Ronald Gombe played heavy minutes, but there was no production coming from his side. I feel like their offense at the time was just so haphazard, and it was just all over the place. So there was no way we were going to be able to do anything significant at the time. Even getting any production from him was next to impossible. Then we've got Victor Bosire. This is actually the current team captain, and look at his production at this game against Senegal. A game that, Senegal, they're a very good team, very well coached team, and they're the team that know what they're supposed to do, and whatever is needed in the court, they're able to provide. But you can see this guy, he played damn near 28 minutes. He had 0 points, 0 for 6. I know basketball, sometimes you can say it's not all about scoring, but my God, what did we see here? Look at this. This is crazy. Then he had a plus minus from minus 13. He had 5 turnovers and 4 fouls. So you're having this guy, I'm pretty sure this guy had more fouls than even points. He didn't even have any point in the game. So that was crazy. They got Okal Koranga. 24 minutes. They say about 24 minutes played, 10 points, 4 of 10 shooting. I mean, at least he was able to knock down 2 of 3 from downtown. He had 7 rebounds. But if you look at the personal fouls, 3 personal fouls, 4 turnovers. I mean, you cannot trust anyone to take care of the basketball. Valbuza, 6 points. Fidel Okoth. I mean, Fidel Okoth is being praised heavily right now. But if you look at this guy statistically, he's one of the most inefficient players that we have on the team. Then we've got Fahim. Fahim, this is the time he got his shot, but he was not able to get any looks. And also Valentine Akinda, look at him. Morans 30. Oh, and Eric Mutor. Oh my God, this was another guy that I'm so happy he's not going to travel with the team, because this is the type of production that he produces. So you can't trust anyone here. So everybody here had a bad game. And even the scoreline just tells you everything that you need to know. Oh my God, it was just sad. It was just really, really sad. So I'm pulling these stats from the FIBA basketball website. Make sure to check that out if you want to get the comprehensive stats of what happened in that game. But when I watched that game and I looked at it, it just showed like there was a lot of things that needed to change, and left a lot to be desired, especially when it came to the Kenya Morans at the time. So let's just hold on. Let's just put can see Bosire in the first quarter. Let's see. Can even put on all the players in the first half. Look at this. All shots. Can you see made shots, missed shots? Check out all those missed shots, especially from inside, mid-range to inside. I know basketball is all about like capitalizing on the high percentage shots, but you couldn't say that you're missing at this rate at that time. So this showed me that there was a lot of lack of chemistry at the time. Even I raised these issues way back when I saw them. If you miss a couple of threes, it's okay because there's a low percentage shot, so it goes in about 47% of the time. But this one you have to be much more efficient with it, and they want. And even right now, these are the same things that are plaguing the team right now, and it's inexcusable at all. And if you look at the amount of there's not even proper shot selection in the first half for anyone. Nobody was even trying to manufacture good looks. The plays were just outdated, and it's Coach Cliff who was doing all this, and he was orchestrating everything. So in the second half, my God, in the third quarter alone, look at that. They somewhat tried to score inside, but there was nothing. But in the fourth quarter, that's when we only had like one dot. All of them were all misses. All of them. All of them were all misses. For him, he missed the jumper in there. Can even check out. Let's check out in the first quarter. In the first quarter, who was going inside? He missed a jumper. Ronald Mikombe missed a jumper. Valbuza missed a jumper. Eric Mutori missed a layup in there. Who else? Ronald Gombe, he missed it. Tailongwa, he missed it. Oh my God, it's just embarrassing right now. And it was, and this is something that is actually quite recurrent. Who was our 3-point shooter at the time? It was Karanga. That's just a lucky shot. Just one really lucky shot. Who else? Then heading into the second quarter, who was that made that shot? You can see Desmond Uli, the dunk made, the mid-range. This was actually, you may think that he didn't have like that much of a contribution like that, because of course the ball was just gonna go into his hands at the time. Then check out Mutoro. That's one. How many shots from three? 2 of 7, 28%, 28.6%. So clearly you can see this guy is not efficient, not an efficient piece that you can rely on. Who else hit a 3? Okal, 2 of his 3s. But this 2 of 7, this is the reason as to why this man shouldn't be on the team at all. Then we got Victor Bosire. He went 0 for 6. And he didn't even go to the line. Didn't even draw any foul. Dude never even drew a foul. Then we have, who made this shot? It was only Ronald Gombe that made it. All these other guys missed it. Everybody missed. And they're just jacking up shots. And nothing was going in. I don't even know why Mutoro was taking this shot. He had no business taking that. He should have remembered that this is not Nyayo Stadium. This wasn't Nyayo at all. Overall, it was a very pathetic game. It was a very poor game. And honestly, it's one of those games that we really, really have a tendency to forget. And it only happened 4 years ago. And this shows me there's no improvement of the team. There's never been an improvement. Because the same players that played then, they're the same players that play now, and they are much more inefficient. So in the coming videos, we're just going to be looking at science type of performances, and I'm just going to give my takes on that. So in the next video, I'll talk about Kenya versus Angola, and Angola, coincidentally, are the team that are going to meet in this window of the Afrobasket. So stay tuned to that. I know you've seen like there's some different branding in there. I've tried to switch it up a bit. You can see it's no more NBA Kenya in there. So I'm just gonna ride out with this. I'm just gonna ride out a bit with this. Banner. It actually really looks good, and I'll just continue with more Nderitu basketball content right there. So, but this is the same brand. So NBA Kenya is it's a brand that is within the Nderitu Basketball Network. So in the Nderitu Basketball Network, you have NBA Kenya, you've got the Kenya Basketball Community, you've got Nderitu Basketball Radio. They're all under that whole huge network. So yeah, I mean, this was actually a game that was so embarrassing, and the press conference was equally as funny because at some point you could see how nonchalant the team was, and nobody like give it like some level of seriousness at the time. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm just going to go ahead and just drop other more videos talking about games and anything that emerges. But stay tuned because a lot of these videos are just gonna be coming out like this. So yeah, man, and I'm out. Peace.